Welcome back to another episode here on the Crash Out League TV. You got your host A Dub, and I'm with my co-host Manny Boy. And man, look here, we heading in to week 10. We headed in to the final week of the midseason tournament. And yes, you're gonna get an announcement who is the last two teams standing here in this tournament. But as you know, we got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to go over. So, Manny, go ahead and take it from here.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and look first at our bounty board. If you remember last week, the bounty did change hands. It was Team CDL. He broke the record for the longest bounty streak in this league's history, but it was taken away none other by the Prodigal Sons. They return and they make a major effort in taking away that bounty. So the Prodigal Sons currently holding the bounty. Now, A-Dub, he was going against Gridiron Cartel, who, in his own right, has been rolling a little bit. He's picked up a couple wins here and there. That's really started to make him seem like, hey, he's starting to put it all together. Was he able to take the bounty away this week, this opportunity?
All right, so Gridiron Cartel took a shot at the Prodigal Sons, the new bounty holder, and there's only two ways it can go. You can hit your mark, or you can shoot yourself in the foot. And unfortunately, they took their shot and shot themselves in the foot. So, what does that mean? That means that the Prodigal Son holds on the bounty for yet another week. Something we have been saying consistent when it comes to people holding this bounty. Now, the question is, how much longer can he hold it? At least he didn't hold it out, at the same mark as Mo City Miss, which was just 1 week. So he can hold that over his head and say, yeah, at least I had it for 2. But will you be able to chase down Team Fabo with Coach Fabian, aka Jamaica Workers? And would you hunt down the record holder right now with Team CDL with Coach Justin? That's just one thing we just got to see.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest question, right? So we will look at that, but momentarily we'll go to our game of the week recap as we had the Jamaica Workers taking on Mo City Menace. We just talked about both of them recently when we talked about that bounty board. Now, this was our game of the week because it was a big time matchup, but as you see there, Mo City Menace demolishing the Jamaica Workers 153-107. This was just a great week. I mean, as really as great as you can get. I mean, this was, you're putting up the 150s. You having yourself a fantastic week. We look up and down his roster, and there's definitely a lot of things that you see that you're like, man, it's because of this that got him the win, or it's because of that got him the win, right? And so if you go ahead and look, I think one of the biggest differences is Puka Nacua. I mean, he's a dog. Now, he wasn't as much of a dog as Jamaica Workers needed him to, because 38 points from Drake London. That is, I mean, his that's his biggest of the day. I mean, that's a 40 bomb, right? That's a 40 bomb. So, but there's a couple other things that you want to like kind of take a look at as well. I think one big thing is that your running back position was just off. Jahmyr Gibbs is typically that guy, man. He's giving you a consistent 20 bomb, but he only put up 5 this week. Whereas Derrick Henry, 13 points. He hasn't been the King Henry that he was last season, but he still got the job done. And so I think that's definitely a big difference in why we were able to see Mo City Menace pick up a win against the Jamaica Workers.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Coach Preach for getting this win right here this week. A pretty big, significant win, especially with a dominant stance by putting up 153. It's kind of hard to compete with that because most of the time people are averaging out 120. So to compete with that, you have to play your best. And for your guys to not show up, like Jahmyr Gibbs, we just mentioned, Jane Daniels getting hurt in the middle of the game, it just hurts you. It just hurts you. So
yeah,
shout out to Coach Preach on that.
we go ahead and look into our upset of the week. Now, we had called this because we definitely thought that this could have happened. And to be honest with you, it was a much closer game than a lot of people would have thought. We had GBK taking on Team C minus draft, aka Coach Cam. 128 to 135. Coach Cam, C minus draft, gets the win, but this was not a no sweat win at all. Again, it's less than 10 points separating these two. That's just, a few extra catches, a few fade balls down the sideline away from making this that much closer. So we go ahead and we look at the scores. Obviously, I think a big thing is right from the top. You see Jackson Dart with 27 points and Patrick Mahomes only puts up 10. It was going to be a rough game no matter what. They were going against the Buffalo Bills. That's always a big time game. That's the risk that you take when you say, okay, this is always high scoring. I think I'm going to try to cash in with Patrick Mahomes. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen this week. There's a few others that really it was close. I mean, you really would have thought seeing Sam Laporta go for 21 and Zach Ertz only go for 8. Man, this could have been going a different way. But I think that right there is really your biggest change. And then Fairbairn going for 16 points. That's another difference maker right there. That makes you see. That's why Coach Cam was able to get the win. Again, a huge pickup in Jackson Dart with 27 points.
Yeah, once again, it just comes down to little things. It comes down to who guys showed up and did their job and who guys didn't show up and do their job. Like we mentioned, Patrick Mahomes, Mr. Number 1 quarterback in fantasy right now. Didn't show up. He's in the red. You got Vidal. Didn't show up. He's in the red. You got Jamar Chase. Didn't show up. Is in the red. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to who is more in the green and who is even further than what they was projected to be. And for this week, it just went down to Coach Cam and C Mike, and he just got the edge by beating out Coach Mike over there at GBK.
Yeah. So now we go ahead and we look at our crash out of the week. We talked about him earlier. There's one clear crash out of the week, and that is the Gridiron Cartel Day 2 Raw Coach Deshaun, putting up less than 100 points at 86.9. We talk about this every week. If you can't put up more than 100, you might as well just get ready to see yourself on this list, because this was a rough one for him. You look at the matchup, Alvin Kamara, 0.7 points. That's always going to hurt you. Dak Prescott, only 15 points. Robbins, only 6. DK Metcalf, 2 points on the whole day. 2 receptions for 6 yards. It's not like he was going deep and they're throwing him fade balls and getting 2 receptions. These were short, trying to set up screen passes, things like that. And then everything else is pretty much similar. And we're not talking about, wins or losses, because obviously you can talk about Brock Bowers, who put up a 43-point game, and that's always going to be a major performance. But we're looking on the right side right now. We're looking at those in the red, and I mean, I think the biggest one, he didn't even get you a point, is Alvin Kamara, and I think that's a big reason why he's our crash out of the week this week.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that we have called this coach's name for crash out of the week, time in and time out. I just know it's not a coach issue. I know he's dealing with a whole lot of injuries. He's lost like 5 guys to season-ending injuries, and he's just playing the merry-go-round with waiver wires and trading, just trying to figure out a way to scrap points to get wins. And I understand that, Coach. Just keep fighting a good fight and keep getting the wins that you can win, because trust me, you're going to catch some people slipping on the way down.
I mean, A-Dub, you can only respect it, right? You can only respect it, him continuing to fight each and every week.
Yes, Lord.
So we go ahead and we look at our power rankings for this week. Of course, the man still at the top of the mountain is CDL, and Coach Barlow, he sits 8-1, picks up another win this week. C minus draft and Coach Cam, we talked about him earlier. He sits 6-3. He's at 2. Jamaica Workers taking a loss this week. They go now to 6-3, sitting at the 3 spot. Mo City Menace now up to 4 with a 5-4 record. Smooth Criminal up to 5, jumping up a spot at 5-4. He's on a 2-game win streak. Mo City Menace on a 4-game win streak. Money Manny down 2 spots all the way to 6. He's on a 1-game losing streak. The Prodigal Sons 2-game win streak gets them into the playoff picture, and that is just around the corner at 7. GBK is now outside looking in at the 8th spot with 3-6 record. He's on a 4-game losing streak. Gridiron Cartel at 9 with a 2-7. He's on a 2-game losing streak. And at the bottom, it is Coach Lucky. He's gone through a bunch of different names, so we're going to call him Team Luck. And he is at the 10th spot at 2-7 on a 5-game losing streak. A-Dub, your thoughts on these power rankings?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're no longer on a sugarcoat. Keep going, keep doing your best, because we're at a critical time now, fellas. We just finished week 9. We're going into that double-digit week. What does that mean? That means we're getting closer and closer to playoff time. That means every game from now on is going to count. Every amount of points that you put up week in and week out is going to count. So whether you want to get real into the numbers about this stuff, you need to look at your record, you need to look at your points, and seeing what's the best case scenario. Should I try to stay above somebody because of my record, or will I be okay to tie with them and still be better than them because I put up more points to them? You need to figure out which type of coach you're trying to be. So that's my suggestion to y'all based off of where we at right now.
Now, A-Dub, why don't you go ahead and take us through our next segment, and let's figure out what's going on with this mid-season tournament. Another week gone, and we are now into the finals of the mid-season tournament. A-Dub, how did this one shake out? Because we went from 4 now down to the final 2.
All right, so our final 4 teams in the semifinals were Team CDL versus Team Money Manny. And then we had Mo City Minutes on the other side against the Jamaica Workers. Now, as you can see, and based off last week's points, we had a doubleheader. The same 2 teams who played in the regular season were the same 2 teams that played in the mid-season tournament. So, Team CDL took down Money Manny in the regular season and took them down in the mid-season tournament to move on into the finals. Same thing goes for Mo City Minutes. They took down the Jamaica Workers in the regular season and took them down in the mid-season tournament to move on to the finals. So now we got the top dog in the league in the Team CDL with Coach Justin versus an up-and-coming team who started off rough this season and has just been on a train, stacking down the tracks in front of them day in and day out, and been climbing the charts all the way through the mid-season tournament, win after win, and made its way to the finals. So we will have Team CDL versus Mo City Menace in the finals this week. And just to make sure everybody knows, this is not like playoffs. This is one and done. This is ain't no, let's figure out what we look like in week 1 and how to adjust the next week after that. In the mid-season tournament final, it is one and done. So coaches, show up with your best. Show us what you can do. I know it's the middle of the season. A lot of guys are going on bye weeks or guys are injured. But hey, that's what comes with football. Show me what type of manager you is and show me how you get it done. But those are 2 coaches that's here in the finals in the mid-season tournament.
Yeah, A-Dub, I think one thing that's really interesting, man, is you got CDL, who's been at the top of the mountain pretty much all season, right? He barely lost a game last week. Outside of that, he was on a 7-game win streak. I mean, he's been at the top of the mountain. He knows what Cloud9 feels like. Mo City Menace, I think, is tired of a lot of people talking down on his team. A lot of people saying that he's washed. A lot of people saying he's just not the same manager that was able to win it just a season ago. So I think this one's really going to come down to, like, man, this one's going to get really close, and it's just going to be that one decision where you're going to say, I wish I would have started this guy outside of that guy. But again, that's the part about fantasy football that we all love, is you've got to be essentially perfect week in and week out to get yourself the kinds of wins that you need. So this one's going to be really, really interesting. I think it's going to be too close to call right now in this moment. I think if people had to take betting odds, right, you might take CDL because he's been at the top. But again, Mo Cimenez, he's on a winning streak. He knows what winning feels like. He is a champion of this league. So I don't think you sleep on him too much. But again, both these competitors are going to come out and really fight, and I think that's going to be the real fun thing about it.
And I just want to emphasize to everybody in the world that's watching this right now, this is like a rematch from the beginning of the season. Let's go back all the way to week 2. Week 2, Team CDL and Mo City Miz met for the first time this season and have not seen each other since. So everybody knows in the beginning of the season, Mo City Menace struggled. They couldn't get their guys to show up and play. They couldn't figure out what the playbook was like. And they was only able to put up 95 points versus Team CDL's 123.54 points. So it was a blowout. It was understood who was the dominant team at the time. But I just want the world to know Mo City Menace is coming. Ever since then, Mo City Menace has been putting the tracks in front of them and been chugging along. We talking about Mister getting back to try to average at 120, 130 after bouncing back from a hard start. So don't get it twisted. Like Manny said, this is a previous champion. So this week is going to be a very good week. If you pay attention to these numbers right here, last week, Team CDL put up 142. Mo City Menace put up 153. So they up there when it comes to putting up major numbers together.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting to see a very good finals turnout to try to see who gonna walk out with this win, man. And me personally, I think I'm gonna ride with Mo City Menace this week. I like the underdog story. You know what I mean? I never like rooting for the big guy. You know what I mean? David versus Goliath. You know, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? So give me Mo City Menace, who is hot right now, to knock off Team CDL this minute season tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Mo City Menace is coming really fast. Like really, really fast. But I think Team CDL has enough strength and power to make him stop coming as fast. You get what I mean? And so I think if you're gonna ride with the underdog, I gotta go with the guy who's gonna be on top, right? The guy who sits at top. So I will go with Team CDL to really be able to ride out this win and get himself a chance, not a chance, the right to predict and control the last 2 seasons of the regular season, or the last 2 weeks of the regular season. Again, that's going to be huge, absolutely massive. And so I think CDL is just huge and absolutely massive. And I think he's going to be able to really show off his power and flex his muscle enough and just show like he's really able to be that guy. So I'm really excited to see this one, A-Dub. So we can go ahead and we can move on to our other updates that we got in the league. So first one, just want to remind our folks, hey, week 12, that is the trade deadline. We just saw the trade deadline happen in the actual NFL, and there were some fireworks popping off. I mean, Sauce Gardner gone, Quentin Williams gone. People are going left and right, all different places. So we might see that here in the Crash Out League game. Some people say, look, hey, I understand, man. You're not going to get into the playoffs. I'm trying to share up my team. What can I give you? Or you might see the other side where it's the guys who are on the outside looking in, but can say, dude, I can get into there. I just know that you have a guy that you don't really use. Let me pick him off you. I'll give you somebody. So I definitely think we can see guys just flying all over the place. And a few guys might find a new home after the trade deadline. So that's going to be real, real exciting. And then, of course, playoffs start week 15. Adam, go ahead and take us through that playoff bracket and how that looks.
So this year is just slightly different from last year. We had a 6-man lineup going into the playoffs, so 2 teams got a bye week. But this year, the commission wanted to up the competition, and he's allowing one more team into the playoffs. So we're doing the 7-man playoff tree. So what does that mean? That means only one team. I repeat, that means only one team gets the bye week this time. So everybody that's scratching and crawling, trying to get out there with Team CDL, your time is coming up real fast because playoffs start week 15. It's week 10. That means you got 4 or 5 weeks to figure it out to try to get in position into the playoffs, or for the ones that striving for number one, how do I get to that number one spot? So those are your updates coming for you guys here in this league.
Yeah, and like you said, A-Dub, hey, if Coach Justin can find a way to stay up at the top of the mountain and he controls the last 2 weeks, if somebody's getting close to him, okay, I'm just going to set you guys up together. You guys are closest to me. You're going to battle it out. I'm going to take my win, and I'm going to just continue to open up that gap. Whereas if you are Most City Menace and you're on a win streak, you're like, dude, I could maybe even go snag that number one if I'm 2 games out and I know I can go against somebody who's going to put up a lot of points, or I'm going to put up a lot of points. So I think that one's going to be real interesting. Shout out to Kamish for the idea. Always innovative. So we're real excited for that one. So we'll go ahead and take a look back at our own fantasy league and the players in it, as we will go ahead and take a look at what will be our matchup of the week, game of the week here going into week 10. And I think there's a lot of really interesting matchups. So to run down the games of the week right now, Money Manny will take on the Prodigal Son. Smooth Criminal will face Most City Menace. Jamaica Workers taking on Gridiron Cartel. C- Draft to take on Team CDL. Team Luck to take on GBK. A-Dub, right now, any game that's popping out to you for game of the week?
Game of the week, I mean, it's only one that really makes sense, that really hold like real bearings right now, specifically this week, because of the mid-season tournament. And I'm gonna have to do Smooth Criminal versus Most City Menace. Yes, Most City Menace need to show up for this regular season game and put up points, but you also need to make a statement that's big enough to win him the finals in a mid-season tournament. So I'm expecting a lot from Most City Menace to try to go here and get this win. But speaking big on Most City Menace, it's the same thing over here for Smooth Criminal. Smooth Criminal's in a prime spot, 5-4. Just like Most City Menace, 5-4. If he could somehow figure out how to get this win this week, it will be huge for him this regular season, because it gives him one game above, a 1 game advantage above Most City Menace, which could be critical at a time when it comes for the playoff push. You never want to get behind big time teams. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick this for game of the week, because I think both coaches are motivated for their own reasons, and their rivalry tie together of playing each other 2 times a year. And Smooth Criminal somehow figuring out how to get this win against them in a regular season. So that's another big buff. That's why I'm going with game of the week right here.
Alrighty. I like it, man. That one's surely going to be a good one. Real exciting. For me, I think I'm going to look more at our upset alert. And there's a couple. Well, we really have a lot of really close games. You know, number one's going against number 2, 8's going against 10, 4 going against 5, 7 going against 6. So I think for me, the one that I got to go ahead and look at and just kind of call out surely based on the different kinds of placements that they're at right now in their season, Gridiron Cartel will go against the Jamaica Workers. That is 9 versus number 3. Now, a big time thing is that players are hurt. Jaden Daniels is out. You know, he's got that dislocated arm. We don't know. I don't think a report's out yet just how much time he's going to miss, but he's definitely not playing this week. So that's one thing that you got to really look at. Aaron Jones and Swift are both questionable coming into this week. That one's going to be an interesting one as well. And Puka Nacua is questionable as well. They're going against San Francisco. Sean McVay might think, you know what? San Francisco, they've had a lot of injuries. We're not going to need the kind of offensive firepower because their defense, I think we can get it done. He might just allow him to rest. It might be a healthy scratch. And that puts the Jamaica Workers in a very difficult position. So I like this one a lot. There's a few places that are going to have to be filled, a few positions that are going to have to be filled by the Jamaica Workers and Coach Fabo if he wants to pick up this win. But right now, as it sits, it's a 64 to 36% chance of winning. Favorite goes to the Gridiron Cartel.
I mean, I like it. You got to believe in underdogs, like I just said with Coach Preach. We got to see how Coach Fabian bounced back this week after losing his quarterback and his team struggling last week. Is this the bounce back week that he's going to get? It should be. Hey, you never know when it comes to the crash out league. So I like this pick right here. Go ahead and take advantage of Coach Deshaun and organization Gridiron Cartel and help get you a sneaky win this week.
Yeah, definitely. So now we go ahead and we look at our NFL games of the week. 3 games that you're going to want to pay attention to and really focus in on. There's a lot of players a lot of people have in their fantasy teams, but outside of that, it's just good football between Anthony and I. That's who we believe. So we start off at the 9 o'clock slate on Sunday. Yes, I said that correctly. 9 a.m. So if you have Michael Penix, if you have Jahmyr Gibbs, or my apologies, if you have, I'm distracted because I can already see what's going on the stream. My apologies, folks. I'm trying to be professional here. If you have Bijan Robinson, or on the Colts side, if you have Indiana Jones is his new nickname. Shout out. That's a great nickname, by the way. Jonathan Taylor. 9 o'clock in the morning is when this game is played. Why? It's an international game. That can also be a bit of a mix-up. We see teams not really play up to their full potential on their national games. So that is Falcons versus Colts, Sunday, 9 a.m. Now we go Steelers versus Chargers. That's the 7 o'clock slate. That is football night in America. That is prime time. Steelers versus Chargers. And so we see Aaron Rodgers. We see Justin Herbert. Herbert's been a fantastic fantasy quarterback this year. Quentin Johnson looks like he's putting it together. Will we see DK Metcalf do the same? That's going to be an interesting one. And then for our final game on this slate is the Eagles versus the Packers. And that's on a Monday night.
Wait, Manny, what does that spell?
7:15.
Manny, what does that spell?
I don't know. Manny, my laptop just turned off. I don't know. My laptop just turned off.
What does that spell?
I don't know. My laptop just turned off.
What does that spell? I couldn't put that together.
Just turned off. I don't know. I can't see it.
I didn't
my laptop
quite
just turned off. I have no clue.
I can't understand.
So those are our games of the week. So A-Dub, let's go ahead and let's roll through these. Falcons versus Colts, 9 a.m. Who do you got in this one? You'll be able to get it out at the end, bro.
Give me the Colts to go ahead and get this freshly new dub, picking up a freshly new superstar DB in Sauce Gardner. Now, how early is he going to get reps on this defense? We don't know. He just got put over there. Maybe they on some, you know what? You got great instincts. You're a great baller. We going to just throw you out there on some plays and see what you do. You know what I mean? It's a lot of playbooks that he got to learn, but at the end of the day, the coach has been looking great. They had a little stumble last week against the Steelers over there in Pittsburgh. But hey, when you're playing good defense, it happens. But guess who's not a good defense like that? The Atlanta Falcons. So we ain't got to worry about none of that. So give me the Colts to go ahead and get the win this week against the Falcons. I love you, Bijan.
I like that one a lot. I'm sorry?
I just want to tell Bijan I love you.
Yeah, shout out Bijan Robinson, bro. Burnt orange legend, man. Now, I will also take the Colts in this one. I think it's going to be a really interesting thing on the offensive side of the ball because you no longer have Mitchell. He got traded over to the Jets, right? Now, I think he might have been crucified because of that fumble that he had going into the end zone.
Definitely. Haven't heard from him since. They was preparing to trade him right then and there. He ain't been back since.
So I think it becomes one of two things. Does Michael Pittman get more targets and receptions? Or does the defense really start to just focus in on him and then he gets shut down? That's going to be really, really interesting. So that's our 9 o'clock slate. We're both going with the Colts on that one. We go Steelers versus Chargers Sunday at 7:20. And I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. I will take the Chargers out in LA. I think for me, it's just that Justin Herbert has really been like that, and we're starting to see Quentin Johnson get to that level that we were expecting him to be. Of course, he's still growing. He's still a young receiver. Shout out, honestly, to the Chargers for not giving up on him. I think it would have been really easy for them just to kind of kick him to the side, say, you know what, dude, you're not going to work out here. Appreciate your time, but it's not going to happen. But they didn't. They've decided to stick with him, and I think it's really starting to pay dividends. So I'll go ahead and go with the Chargers in this one.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Great pick. I think
one of the dudes has worn the green that he's wearing, so y'all know where he's going to go.
I'm also going to ride with the Chargers. I love Pittsburgh. I do. I'm a defensive guy. Pittsburgh got a great defense that shows up week in and week out. But right now, with DK Metcalf, where they pay him all this money and they can't get him going, and they got my boy A-Rod over there trying to make stuff happen like a magician, and he does sometimes, but sometimes it's just not going to be enough. So I'm around with the Chargers this week to go ahead and get it done since they're at home. But if they was in Pittsburgh, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, I do think it would be a different story, especially if they were on the road. Now, here is the last NFL game of the week, Monday, 7:15 p.m. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Don't do what you did 2 weeks ago and destroy your entire setup here, okay? Because then we don't have a show. Cool? Great. Eagles versus Packers, Monday. There's just no control. I mean, there's just zero control.
See,
yeah.
I think I lost power.
We're all over the place. We're cursing. We're in the dark now. The light's gone. Light bulbs are broken. He's just choppy. He's again. It's broken. Look at him. Look at him. Look.
I know.
People are waiting on you.
Can you?
Yeah. There you go. Yep.
Hello.
Yep. No, we got you. People are waiting on you to make your prediction after destroying your entire setup.
Yeah, I don't. Somebody. I think somebody just broke in. We had a scuffle. Give me the Packers. I have a bounce back game this week. Unfortunately, we played to the level of the team that we're playing against. Came off an unfortunate loss last week. So now we're playing a big time team, so we should show up for a big time team, right? We played to our opponent. Our opponent's a big time team. So okay. J Love. Let's see you show up this week. Ain't no way. You know what? Give me a second. Ain't no way your defense can hold somebody to 16 points and you can't win a football game. Let's make that make sense. Ain't no way your defense held out the whole game. I want to say it was 10 to 3 at halftime or something like that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Hey, give me the bounce back game with the Packers to handle their business, because if they don't, I got that big dunker on the way. Y'all saw that TikTok with that dude walking in that locker room, Atlanta locker room, and he be talking to everybody, making sure that they straight. I'm next.
Mm-hmm. Are you good? I think it's safe for us, guys. You can come out of hiding now. I'll also go ahead and take the Packers in this one. They're at home. You know what I mean? That's really going to be a big advantage for them. The Eagles got to travel over.
Right?
Look at the color I'm wearing. Look at the color I'm wearing.
It's blue.
I hate them more than I hate y'all.
Understandable.
So I will go ahead and take the Packers in this one. But like you said, we saw against Carolina, they really, I mean, I got to say, they stunk it up. You know, I can't iterate enough how bad they were offensively. I'd throw the defense in there, throw special teams in there, right? Just everybody. I think everybody's equally to blame in this one. But like you said, you had a premonition, A-Dub. You called this. You said a couple days before the game that the Packers always play down to their competition. Well, now the question is, can they play up to their competition? Right? Eagles, one of the top teams in the league. They'll be at home. I'll take the Packers in this one. A-Dub, go ahead and send the people home.
We finna walk them down, take off they feathers, wash them up, go ahead and put some seasoning on them, let it sit for a couple days. Then we're
Packers
gonna
want
get
to
that
touch the guys.
flour. We're gonna get that flour, and then we're gonna put the seasoning in that flour and that batter. Then we're gonna throw them wings in there. We're gonna
Very
get that
sensual
oil.
right now.
We're gonna get that oil hot and popping, and then we're gonna fry their ass. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode here on the Crash Out League TV. Hey, if you ain't enjoying the content, we is. I love making this stuff. I make it if there's nobody else watching it. You know what I mean? It's still gonna get made. You know what I mean? If you are also appreciative, as much as we are appreciative to get on here and make this show, leave a like. You know what I mean? It's easy to just go down and like the video. You know what I mean? You
Simple.
already
Easy.
subscribe. Hopefully, if you're not, hit that subscription button. You know what I mean? And then you know what you should do, like we tell y'all every week, share it to your mama, your granny, your girlfriend, your side piece of the side piece, your teacher, your auntie, your cousins, your homeboy from down the street, your best friend that you texting on the toilet, and a girl that you can't get over that broke your heart.
Yeah.
Go ahead and send this to everybody.
Yeah. The girl that you met at the Halloween party just a couple days ago, even if you don't have her number saved, right?
Don't make me say her name. Don't make me say her name.
Even if you don't have her number saved, even if it's just under what her costume was, even if you have Velma there, right? Send it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let her know, right? Your barber who cut you, who faded you before the party, send it. Send it that way too. Just it's knowledge, folks. We should be a smarter society in general. You know what I mean? What's better than talking about with your brother?
It's your boy A-Dub and your boy Manny Boy, and we signing out once again. See y'all next week.